Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be how to end a relationship in a loving way. What do you do when a relationship has run its course? When you know it's time to pull the ripcord and get out, what's the best approach? So I've got an email from a guy. He's been married for about 5 years. And he says for the last 7 months, he and his wife have not been having sex anymore. He says there was a previous email that I answered for him in the past, and he started dating and courting her properly. I talked about in 3% Man, but things have not changed. So I've got a quote that I wrote on this topic, and then we'll go through his email and see where he's at. The best way to end a relationship is to be honest and tell it like it is, even when it will hurt the feelings of other people. Brutal honesty is always the best policy. Letting things linger when it's over doesn't serve anyone. If you are married, you should seek the advice of a good divorce attorney before doing anything. Go talk to a divorce attorney first before you blow up your marriage or your relationship. Especially the way the laws are, because I have people all over the world, so every state, every country has different laws. So you need to seek legal counsel wherever you live and whatever laws that you're going to fall under. Seek the advice of a good divorce attorney before doing anything so you can limit your legal exposure and downside risk. If you've got kids, they need healthy examples of good relationships to emulate. Staying in a loveless, sexless marriage for the sake of the kids is not doing anything except giving them an example of a loveless, sexless marriage, and then they'll go out and they'll create the same kind of relationship when they grow up. And as a parent, that's not what you want. You want your kids to do better than you, to have a better life, to be happier, to be more successful, have more love, more friendships, more successes, more wins than you have had, because then you feel like a success. Kids will follow the example you set for them, not what you tell them they should do. The sooner you can move on to find the next great love of your life, the better it will be for you, your family, your kids, and your overall sense of happiness and well-being. So let's go through his email. Good morning, Coach. I watched a lot of your videos, and I've been reading your book while following along on Audible. It has helped me retain more info. So we're talking about 3% Man. And what I generally suggest people to do is to read the book, a physical copy or a digital copy, while they're listening to the audiobook on 1.5 to 2 speed. Because this book's about 7.5 hours, the audiobook. And if you're listening to it on double speed, you can get through it in like 3.5 hours. Helps you get in. Plus, by focusing on the book and reading along as the words are being said, you're going to concentrate on it way more than listening to it at the gym or driving in your car or doing stuff at your house. And the goal is to learn and absorb the material as quickly as possible and in as short a time as possible. He says, so I've been married coming up on 5 years, and me and my wife have been sexless for a better part of 7 months. So now they're platonic roommates, and that's no fun. That's not why you got married. You got married because you wanted to get your freak on with somebody who loved everything about you and vice versa. And if you're no longer having sex, you are roommates. And if you're going to be roommates with somebody, they should be paying their fair share, and it should strictly be platonic, not somebody that's supposed to be your wife that you should be getting your freak on with. I have continually taken her out to do something fun and trying to rekindle what we had. You responded to a previous email of mine in the article, is this as good as it gets? Where you talked about courting properly and are feeling safe and comfortable. And so when I'm talking to guys that are in this particular situation and they're going, should I stay? Should I go? Well, the only thing you have control over is how you show up. So what you should be doing is learning what's in 3% Man, applying it, being the best man you can be, getting back to dating and courting her properly. But if she doesn't respond to that and she doesn't participate, then at least you did everything you could on your end, because it requires both people to make it work. And if the other person's not making an effort, which you're going to see in a second, that's what's going on with this particular guy's wife. He's taking control of the controllables, which I also talk about in Mastering Yourself. He's taking care of the controllables. In other words, he's doing what he can to be the most attractive that he can be to his wife and other women because he wants to be an attractive man in general. That's what 3% man will do. And so he's done that, but she's still not making the effort. And it takes two to tango. If she don't want to tango, you ain't dancing. He says, I think I've come to a point now where I'm just not feeling it. I feel like my desires and passion for her is totally gone. Because in my heart, I feel like there's no longer a spark, and I deserve to feel the effortless relationship that you talk about being my birthright. Well, you got to see reality as it is. Not better than it is or worse than it is, but as it is. And she's not making an effort, and never try to keep somebody who doesn't want to keep you. He says, but I continue to waffle back and forth on whether to stay together because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or leave and think maybe the grass isn't greener. I want to kind of experience dating and be on my own and able to date and experience things that I have never done before. Well, what are you getting out of this marriage? She's not holding up her end of the bargain. You date and you court her and you romance her and you get nothing but blue balls for your efforts. That's no fun. That's not what you signed up for. And it takes two. She ain't making the effort, so just like I said, two to tango, but she ain't tangoing, so you ain't dancing. And therefore, you should dance right out of her life and dance into some new girl's life. Because if you've taken care of everything you can take care of, you've been reading the book, 3% Man, you read it 10 to 15 times, you're dating and courting her properly, she doesn't appreciate it, she doesn't want it, she doesn't value it, go find somebody who does. So he says, how do you have the conversation about divorce in a loving way, that you're just not feeling it anymore romantically? Just say, honey, we need to talk right now. This is really important. And just say, this ain't working for me. I'm not happy. I don't want to stay together anymore. You're not making any effort. And I've already spoken to a divorce attorney and I've started the process. And I want you to move out. And I want us to move on. We're going to sell the house. We're going to dispose of the assets this way or whatever it happens to be. I'm not feeling it. You're not making the effort. There's no point in us staying together. We've become platonic roommates and I want more than this. So I'm going to start dating other people and I'm moving on and it's been swell. Here's the card of my divorce attorney. I suggest you go seek your own counsel and try to get as much done up front as possible. Hopefully put together a settlement agreement of what you like and what you think is fair. But as soon as she gets an attorney involved, you got to remember, divorce attorneys make money by the hour. And the longer they can keep the conflict going, the longer they can fleece you and drain your bank accounts dry. Implore her to say, you get an attorney involved and we start fighting over things, all the attorney's going to do is bankrupt both of us. And so the more we can solve on our own, the better off we're going to be. That's the best thing you can do. Just tell her how it is. Tell her the truth. Tell her you want her to move out. She's not making an effort. It's time for her to go on down the road and go find somebody that lights her soul on fire. Because just sitting here and 7 months, no sex, yet you date her, you take her out, and she doesn't appreciate any of it, and she doesn't like being touched by you, that's no fun. That's not what you signed up for. So it's time to be honest, brutally honest, and move on. And you'll feel better. I remember when I had that same conversation with my ex-wife. It was the worst thing in the world. I didn't want to do it. It wasn't fun. It wasn't pleasant. I agonized over it for months. And after it was finally done, I felt relieved. I felt a lot better. And so once it's done, you'll feel better. But like I said, you got to deal with divorce attorneys, and depending on where you live, what state and country you live, and the way the divorce laws are, like I said, you need to talk to a competent legal counsel in your country, your city, your state, where you happen to reside, who understands the laws that you are subject to. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.